Oh, it went through.
Yep. There we go.
Nice. Okay. Alrighty. Are you ready?
I is.
Let me make sure my sound settings are right. Okay. Cool. Let's do it. Hello and welcome to the Warrior House podcast, where Warrior Pride lives. I'm your host, Ryan Reingart, joined by my co-host, Mike Sangster. Thanks for joining us on episode 119 of the Warrior House podcast. Dry January done, Sangster. February is here, the shortest month of the year, which means we're going to go lightning fast through this and get to springtime.
Yeah, no doubt. It's already looking a little better outside, but I'm glad that February is here. It's my birthday month. Uh, and we're gonna start out. We've got some big news coming out, like couple things just today, something last week that just came out too.
Yeah, some really interesting stories. So the first one I wanted to start out with was for those who didn't follow, there was pretty big in the sports news that the head coach of the Tuskegee University men's basketball team left the court after a game in handcuffs. So they were taking on Morehouse University. TLDR, for those too long didn't read, didn't want to read into it. Basically, Tuskegee was playing their rival Morehouse at Morehouse University. Morehouse ends up winning the game. And after the game, because it was a rivalry, it turns out that there were members of the football team for Morehouse in attendance for this one. They got into the handshake line, and they apparently, according to the Tuskegee head coach, they were yelling, profanity. They were being aggressive, all of that. And I don't know exactly what happened with the Tuskegee coach, but he stepped in, tried to back him off, or so he said, and he ends up being aggressive in, himself, gets handcuffed, and that's how he ended up leaving that game. I had to do some research, Sangster, because Tuskegee sounds familiar to me. Back on October 30th, they actually played at the Wayne State Fieldhouse as part of the Hoops Culture men's basketball tournament. They did not play Wayne State in that one. They played Eastern Michigan. So just a fun little. It sounded very familiar to me, like that school. But so that was. But like this brought up like the idea of handshake lines. Like it's such an interesting concept to me that like baseball, of course, because I think probably because they have 162 games, don't normally do handshakes after every single game. Football, I know there's, handshake, picture, jersey swap, all that. They have 16 games. But like in the case of like college athletics, it's so interesting to me that handshake lines are a thing almost exclusively across the board for all college sports. And that's where a lot of spats seem to happen.
Yeah, and it can come up, especially in rivalry games, or I'm not sure how like lopsided this one is, but going back to this one, I did watch the video and it looked like the Tuskegee coach went up to like a Morehouse police officer or security guard or something, and I don't know what he said. It didn't look like he said anything to him, but it led the Morehouse officer to bring him out in handcuffs. And so my first thought is, man, I think the Morehouse officer must just be a fan or something like. Yes, he's a police officer, but he must be like a hardcore fan or something that really just wanted to get the Tuskegee coach out in handcuffs. But I don't know. Looking at the video, it seems pretty inappropriate for that to happen. And on top of that, Morehouse football players like, yeah, there's one thing to say you're on the sidelines and yelling profanity, whatever. That's fine by me. Like it should happen more often. But getting into the handshake line, that's that's a little excessive.
Yeah. And,
But
and I
but
think about it. Yeah.
but even with with the handshake lines, it's always awkward to me. Like especially in Wayne State's case, unfortunately, we've got a couple lopsided streaks kind of going against us, and every game it's still like, oh yeah, we just kind of got whooped by a rival, and yeah, we've kind of gotten whooped by them every year. Grand Valley, Ferris, teams like that, and yet you're still hopping in the handshake line. So
Yeah. I mean, I think about it because, just recently Michigan State played each other in basketball. And there's
yeah.
the story going on around about like, oh, is there a spat between Dusty May and Tom Izzo? They didn't really shake hands. They didn't really acknowledge it. And it's
Mhm.
like all of this simply to just say, good game, whatever. Congrats on the win. Best of luck the rest of whatever. Like like things like this are not extremely common, but they come up quite a bit. So I just thought
Yeah.
I wanted to call that one out. Like that's a very interesting way to leave a game where you show up with your team on the bus uniforms, you're out there in warm up and you leave, in a patrol car. Like it's so bizarre to me.
Yeah.
But we got some other news, Sangster, some other local news, especially for baseball fans, especially. And I have an interesting story. But Mickey Lolich, Tigers great, passed away, I believe, earlier today at the age of 85.
Yep. Yeah, apparently he was at a like elder care facility or something in Sterling Heights. So, uh, yeah, not really any other details beyond that, but just a longtime Detroit Tigers pitcher, one of the all-time greats in the league, probably one of the all-time greats that isn't in the Hall of Fame for some reason, but is what it is. Sad news on that front, and also a little closer to Wayne State. A gentleman by the name of Ron Teasley passed away either again earlier today or yesterday. He was a multi letter winner for Wayne State, uh, class of '86 in the Wayne State Hall of Fame. Uh, but he played in the '40s and actually had a break during World War II to go serve in the U.S. Navy. But he was playing basketball and baseball and basketball for Wayne State. Ends up getting a tryout with the Dodgers, and then ended up playing in the Negro Leagues for most of his career.
Yeah, so interesting stuff there. One point I want to make. So I've actually been going through my baseball cards recently. I was
Mhm.
made aware that there's this huge market now. I think there has been for a while, but there's this market of if you have signed baseball cards, rare ones and all that, it's gone crazy lately. I didn't know this
Mhm.
because I bought these cards back when I was, I don't know, 10,
Six,
something
yeah.
like that. I thought I had a signed Mickey Lolich card. I do not, but I do have an 8x10 signed photo of
There
Mickey
you go.
Lolich actually hanging out at my parents' place. I haven't taken that off the wall there yet, but very interesting one. A player that I never really knew much about, but I do have some, uh, you know, stuff for him
Yep.
as well as a bunch of other Tigers players.
Oh yeah.
So,
Cool stuff.
yeah, quick wrap up on the news. Just a couple of interesting sports stories that we wanted to cover there. So, with that, let's roll on in. Wayne State women's basketball. We'll start out with them. Over the last week, they had a couple of games, home and away. Again, a very, very interesting weekend split for them. But starting on Thursday, the Wayne State women's basketball team was at home. Ryan and Sangster were also in attendance for this one, taking on Purdue Northwest. And Wayne State won this one by a score of 89-68. A good old fashioned whooping in this one. I mean, the thing I always want to call out, especially because, like I said, I'm expecting to see more and more of this from the men's basketball team, but I see it on the women's side that we out rebounded 40-25. That is how you make that. That's how you make these big spreads happen. You're able to beat a team by, in this case, 21 points, if my math is correct. That's pretty impressive. And also, in addition to that, Taylor Thompson, again, she's getting dangerously close to getting herself some GLIAC player or, first team honors if she's not, too careful. But she ends up getting a double double in this one, I believe 33 points, if I'm not mistaken, and 10 rebounds. So pretty significant numbers for her.
Yeah, she was really on triple double watching this one. 33 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, three more than you would have gotten the triple double there. I think I had heard or read that it would have been the third confirmed triple double in Wayne State history. Unfortunately, it didn't happen in this game, but she's been playing lights out all year, simply just continuing that streak against Purdue Northwest.
Yeah, and then McKenna Ferguson and Carrington Gordon. McKenna gets 15 points. I'm sorry, Coco Sylvester gets 10 points. McKenna Ferguson did get 15 points in this one. So really balanced scoring attack here. It's the benefit of if you're able to get out to such a lead, you're able to kind of extend your team a little bit, get some of your bench players out there, give some of your other players a little bit of rest. And that seems like that's what was able to happen, especially down the stretch in this game. So a good win in that one for Wayne State. And then sliding over to Saturday, as opposed to being two home games and a weekend, Wayne State heads out to Big Rapids. An absolutely awful drive to get out there. It's, for whatever reason, feels like it's extremely far. And Wayne State takes on Ferris State, who at that time they were tied, I believe, in the GLIAC standings. And Ferris State ends up winning this one by a final score of 86-71. So we turn around and kind of drop, honestly, a pretty big game here. Some numbers really quick here: 20 points for McKenna, 18 for Gabby, 11 for Taylor Thompson. A little cold-ish from the three-point line, not too bad, but outside of that, just looking at the stats, Fair State got to the free throw line 20 times. We got there 7 times. So if my numbers start to work themselves out, if those numbers are, the free throw attempts are closer, this is pretty close to a tie game. So it was really neck and neck, with the exception of that one stat.
Yeah, you mentioned the free throws. Wayne State did not have they didn't even attempt a free throw in the entire first half of the game. Ferris attempted and made 8. And really, Ferris didn't miss a free throw at all until the fourth quarter. They went 6 for 8. Third quarter, they went 4 for 4. Uh, in Wayne State's case, yeah, you're 5 for 7, pretty good percentage, but just not being able to get, I shouldn't say not being able, but not getting to the line while Ferris does in the clip that they did, uh, and not really having another stat to make up for it. Another game where 3-point shooting, except in the third quarter for some reason, was not where it needs to be. 10 for 29. Funny enough, that's exactly what Ferris did as well. Wayne State had a monster third quarter, though 7 for 12, just from beyond the arc. Uh, Really an up and down game until the fourth quarter, because you start out, Wayne State is down 15 to 18. Second quarter, 13 to 24 in favor of Ferris. Third quarter, Wayne State comes out on fire, 33 to 15. They have a lead going into the fourth quarter, and then poof. Whether it was officiating, just not the best game plan. Something happened in that fourth quarter because Wayne State gets outscored by 19 points, 10 to 29. So yeah, I think a big factor in this game is that Wayne State simply didn't get to the line, and when Ferris did, they made darn near all their shots.
Yeah, then the one last stat that I just happened to see as well, 26 turnovers for Wayne State. So, I mean, looking at the number of points, as you just said, saying through those 4 quarters, my guess, if I had to put some money down on what quarter had the most amount of turnovers from Wayne State, I would think it's the fourth quarter. I think that
Yeah.
it seems like it leads to a big scoring indifference in favor of Ferris State in this one. So definitely a bummer. But closing out the regular season series with Ferris State, we split with them. So,
Yep.
I mean, at the very least, that's what you hope to do with a lot of teams that you're competing with at the top of the GLIAC standings. Of course, you hope that you win them both games, but in this case, we're able to split. I'd venture to say no harm done. With that being said, it just means that all the other games you got to kind of handle your business to work yourselves up to the whatever seed that in the GLIAC tournament that you were kind of pushing for, which number one seed. But we'll talk about our number one seed here in the second half of this episode.
Yeah, this game does sting a bit when you look ahead to what this team had started out doing, and it is what it is. I think we'll talk about it maybe next week or a week after. I think we're just a little bit, I'm not going to say biased, but the way that we and probably other people around here look at college basketball, given the success that Michigan State and Michigan to an extent have had, I think that people around Metro Detroit and myself included, just you look at college basketball different because to me it's all about the tournament and what are we doing to have our best chances in the tournament. And when you don't have a team that drops games kind of like this one, again, a very good Ferris team, they're ranked number 21, but when you're expecting that, hey, maybe Wayne State should be somewhere in the top 25, and then unfortunately it dropped this one. Well, yeah, maybe some of the writers were right that maybe top 25 isn't where we quite are. Still a lot of basketball to be played. Being top 25, yeah, it helps, but it certainly isn't the be all end all to getting into the NCAA tournament. So much more to look ahead towards, though, for this women's basketball team.
Yeah, spot on. So that wraps up the last weekend for Wayne State women's basketball. Sliding on over to the Wayne State men's basketball team. They had the same opponents on Thursday. They were home taking on Purdue Northwest. Ryan and Sangster were in attendance for this one as well. And the heaviest of size for this one, Purdue Northwest wins this one by a score of 73 to 60. And honestly, Sangster, I thought about this afterwards. Something clicked in me like when I was watching this team come down, the Wayne State men's basketball team coming down the stretch in this game. It seemed like one of the most discombobulated games I've seen from a Wayne State men's basketball team that I can remember. So much that, like, of course, towards the end of the game, you're down 13, you're feeling down about yourself. The team was very visibly frustrated and just threw the ball away like 2 times within the last like 2 or 3 possessions. So much that Smothers just eventually called them off and said, "We're done. Like this game is over." That entire game, though, we could not find a solution on defense against their number 24, who ended up having 24 points in this one, go figure. 24 for number 24. We couldn't come up with a solution for this. And this is their big, this is their number five. And again, like we have size on our team, we have physicality on our team. I definitely heard Coach John call out a couple different defensive schemes during the game. None of it worked. Like this guy just ran all over our team. And that was really frustrating. I mean, that's what I mean. Like it just felt like we could not find a solution and we couldn't put enough of a game together to make this one happen against a team that's below us in the GLIAC standings. So now it kind of makes you feel like, well, where does this Wayne State team fall until we talk about Saturday? Where does this Wayne State team fall in the standings? In this case, it had me wondering a little bit.
Yeah, and it was just a bad game all around. We did have two players get into double digits. Jordy Briggs had 17 points. Carlos Paul III had 15. Interestingly, neither of them made a three-pointer in this one. Kind of the saving grace here was Jordy getting to the free throw line. He was 11 for 12 on the day. Definitely the most fouled player on the team. And on top of Wayne State not exactly playing their best defensive game, nothing was really clicking on offense either, going 20 for 55 overall, get through about 36%, 4 for 19 from the three-point line. We know that the three-point shooting isn't really their forte this particular season, but any way that you can get closer to at least like a 35 to a 40%, it puts you in a much better position to win games like this. And in addition, yeah, Wayne State did make it to the free throw line, but they were 16 for 23. It wasn't necessarily a game loser in this particular game, but still under 70% free throw shooting. That's not going to help you with too many games either.
Yeah, that is very spot on. And then, of course, like I mentioned, the big for Purdue Northwest being able to net 24 points for that team. That ends up getting to basically 55% from the field, not including three-pointers. Their three-pointer was a little bit below that. Not too much, though. I mean, so it was just a decent offensive day for Purdue Northwest, even though we talked about that offensively, their numbers were not off the charts coming into this game. So I don't know where all that came from. I don't know if this is a new scheme for Purdue Northwest and they haven't really run this type of offense. Maybe they found something, who knows? But just, yeah, like you put it best, just not a good game here for Wayne State. And it was the bummer because this is the one that we said, you got to win this one, between this weird weekend series of one home, one away, taking on a team below you at home, taking on a team above you away. This is the one that we got to get. It doesn't happen, which means that Saturday becomes kind of a little bit of a must win, in my opinion. And they did it. The Wayne State men's basketball team headed on out to Big Rapids, takes down Ferris State by a final score of 75-73. Jotham Nowacki, my guy, the player that my eyes are on for this team and he has been for this season, will be for the rest of the season. I really believe he is he's going to be the reason why the team gets to wherever it is they get to. It's going to be because of his performance. Ends up getting 21 points in this one. Jordan Briggs 18, and then off the bench, Devin Bell gets 13 points, and that's good enough for this Wayne State team to be able to win this one. And they tied in rebounds against Ferris State. So like we didn't out rebound, but we didn't get out rebounded. We held our own, and I feel like when you look at those numbers and you look at that close of a game, it makes that big of a difference.
Yeah, and you look at some of the statistics for Wayne State here, just in the scoring, and some of the numbers don't exactly jump off the sheet to you. 5 for 26 3-point line. That's not exceptional at all. 30 for 69 overall in field goals. Okay, that's better. 10 for 10 at the free throw line. In a game this close, it certainly helped them out. And the numbers were kind of similar for Ferris. They made 5 more three-pointers, made up for that with one less free throw made. So really, those numbers are pretty statistically close to each other, and it shows that Wayne State can win, closer, more defensive-oriented battles if you can limit some of the mistakes that you made. You being Wayne State, they certainly did in this game. They had 5 turnovers all game. Ferris had 11.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's a pretty good stat right there. I mean, and also like you said, like the fact that you're able to win these close of games, and yeah, we shot less than 20% from the 3-point line. I'll say it. That's a bad percentage. Unless you shot five, it's like, and you went 1 for 5, like, great. You're still at 20%. So you didn't really miss that many, but regardless, less than 20% is pretty rough. And you still were able to put up 75 in this one. So that,
Yep.
that speaks to me a little bit that this team was able to do it. And yeah, like you said, Sangster, when it comes to it and you got to go make some free throws, they made them all. They didn't
And
miss a
on the
single
road.
one. And on the road at allegedly Fair State, who has over 1,000 people in attendance. I watched this stream. I didn't see 1,000, but whatever. Um,
Maybe they all
I don't
took a
know how
line
those
to camp.
numbers.
1475 is the official number at this one.
Yeah, I don't think there was a Wayne State football crowd in Jim Wink Arena for this
No.
one, but I digress and get off of my soapbox. So, yeah, a really, really good game for this Wayne State team. They needed this one. They got it. I really hope this is that type of game that you feel a lot better about yourself because you're basically now tied with Fair State in the GLIAC standings. And, that's where you want to be. You're in a really good spot, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Huge win on the road for Wayne State. Uh, Definitely not the best, but not the worst start to the second half of the GLIAC conference play.
Yep, for sure. So, Wayne State women's track and field was also in action. They were supposed to have a second event. One of them was supposed to be at UIndy. That must have gotten postponed, or Wayne State just chose not to go due to weather that was in the Indy area or some, uh, 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 what do you call it, venue
Yep.
damage or whatever. Similar with like what happened to tennis. We're not going to be talking about tennis because it didn't happen. It got canceled this weekend.
Yep.
But the Wayne State women's track and field team was still in action up at Saginaw Valley for the Jets Pizza Invite. Yum. Closing this one. Oh, by the way, the women's basketball coach, the former Saginaw Valley women's basketball coach, Jen, was not invited to this. Avery Wilson in the 60-meter dash, she ended up getting second place. She also got fourth place in the 200-meter dash. Annabelle Smith in the long jump gets second place. Emily Gordon in the 800-meter run was able to get first place. And then in the 4x400-meter relay, Wayne State ends up winning this one with the group of Kenesha Thomas, Hannah Bastionson, Avery Wilson, and Audrey Huizinga. I'll get that pronunciation at some point. So just, pretty good performance for this team. Again, we're starting to see some. I don't think we had any NCAA provisional time set in this one, but seeing that we got some podium finishes is very good to see for this team.
Yeah, good stuff in the early part of the indoor track and field season. Looking at the fencing side, both Saturday and Sunday, both men and women were in Evanston, north of Chicago, for the Schiller Duels, hosted by Northwestern University. On the women's side, they went 3-2 on Saturday. They beat Incarnate Word, Fairleigh Dickinson, and Lawrence. And they ended up falling to Northwestern and Stanford. Ludovica Mancini and Annabella Gonzalez were on fire in the foil competition. They went 10-4 and 11-3 respectively. Also, Reka Galfalvi and Salma Abdrabo went 12-2 and 11-3 in Epee as well. On the men's side, the men went 2-3 on Saturday. They beat Wheaton and Lawrence, and then they fell to Incarnate Word, Notre Dame, and Stanford. The Sabre squad as a whole did pretty well. They were 23-14. Foilists, it was a bit of a struggle. But in Epee, Mahmoud El Sayed went off for a 10-3 record, and Shuyab Dinkins and Bryce Helm also scored well in Epee.
Yeah, really good performances from them, and we did happen to get a word that the fencing squad was listening to one of the videos that we put up last week on Instagram, just kind of highlighting this competition. So
Yep.
again, I love hearing the support from that team. We will continue talking about fencing. Got a pretty cool invite coming up this coming weekend that we're going to be talking about in the second half. But good stuff from the fencing squad. Some of those performances out there, I mean, it just for those who are listening, if that doesn't if that doesn't say to you that we have some incredible athletes at Wayne State that are able to go out and go, 12-2, if that doesn't mean anything in fencing, imagine you go 12-2 in basketball. Like that's like I don't know how else to put it to make it make sense, but like it's very impressive to see that. So good stuff from fencing. And then as mentioned, we did talk about men's and women's tennis last week because they were supposed to have some tennis action, but UIndy got absolutely annihilated by snow, and this event got canceled. So no tennis to talk about in this part of the episode. So with that, Sangster, that's what we had over the last week. A lot of stuff was going on. So we'll take a quick break. We got some fun stuff to talk about here in the second half. So we'll be right back. Nice.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I'll get my stats pulled up. Okay, conference only stats. Keep. We got Davenport. We got.
D Zone
Where's
seems
that?
to have forgotten that Northwood and mostly just Northwood forgot that they moved to the GMAC because they have them listed with GLIAC News. Oops.
Who's that?
The D Zone.
Oh.
I also forgot that Tiffin left for the GMAC as well.
Mm. Boo boos everywhere.
Guys, what are we doing?
Oh.
I just want to find Wayne State News. Let's go to.
Ooh.
What up?
The Tigers are expected to move their broadcast to MLB Media and could reach a deal with a local TV distributor. Put them on my TV 20 or the CW.
Right? I was gonna say, like, the more sports we can return to just antenna TV with like a streaming option for your phone or something
Yeah.
would be so ideal.
Yeah.
And
I think
like,
especially baseball.
because like some months they're like, okay, I'm just gonna if I'm gonna watch baseball, I'm just gonna watch it at my house. Some months, maybe I'm gonna be on the road somewhere and I'll watch it on my phone then. But I I usually don't watch. I try not to watch too many sports on my phone if I can. I'm always trying to watch them on TV. So
Yeah. Yup. Okie dokie. What you getting?
trying to look and see if we got any commitment news.
Ah.
Gabriel Richard, Matthew Hoban. Oh, this is interesting news. Uh, Schoolcraft basketball is going to play their away games. Yeah, Schoolcraft college basketball will play their away games at the Mathi Center tonight, uh, against Macomb. Women at 5:30 and women and men at 7:30 tonight. That's
Interesting.
interesting.
Huh.
I wonder if Macomb had a conflict or just wanted to. Oh, given Coach Smothers' penchant for getting a lot of players from Macomb, I wonder if he just kind of worked it out that way. And
True.
I mean, it's a big opportunity. I would. Well, no, Smothers and uh, Coach Laurel will be here tonight because they have home games tomorrow. So
Yeah.
I got to
Yeah.
imagine that either them or or a couple assistants will be there.
I mean, even getting to see Schoolcraft, like, is there somebody on Schoolcraft you want to try to get to transfer? Like,
Right. And
we got a connection with
who they-
Schoolcraft, only that's where John came from.
Yes.
Coach
I think that's
Gajan.
where EJ is at.
That sounds right.
Where he was. Let's see. Yep, he's still the head coach there.
Nice. The
Oh man,
roots run deep.
I got time.
You gonna go watch Schoolcraft versus Macomb?
I might root for Schoolcraft because wow, their Schoolcraft is doing really well this year.
Oh,
They're 18-3 and 5-2 in their conference.
dang.
I'm 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 glad for Coach Harrelson.
Same. I
I'm
liked him, even though he seemed like a wet blanket and like not the most exciting person in the world.
mm, yeah,
I mean,
not
so
a
did Dave Greer.
he was more yeah, but he was cool. He liked us.
Yeah, true. Alrighty, are we ready?
Yeah. We'll just roll with this. Let's
Sure.
go.
Give me 1 second. Sorry.
Okay.
Um. Okay. Oh wait. Oh, there is tennis. How did I miss that? Whoops, my bad. Sorry. Let me throw tennis in here really quick. It can just be a quick thing we talk about.
That's okay.
Home on Friday, taking on Walsh. We probably just threw that out there as like a Walsh, can you come up here? Cool. Okay, I'm good now.
All right.
And we're back. So, Sangster, as opposed to starting with women's basketball, which we normally do, just because of the way the week generally works out, we're actually going to talk about football to start because it is at time of recording National Signing Day. I know we put something out on X, a post out there, kind of talking about the environment of Wayne State football right now and kind of all the happenings and all of that. I'll throw that to you, Sangster, to kind of recap a little bit of that and kind of give your thoughts on some of the things that are going on today. But definitely a big day for college football programs everywhere. Like who's coming to my school? Who do we got coming in? Who can I look forward to? What names should I know? All of that stuff really kind of starts today, it feels like.
Yeah, and when I was looking into it, I realized that apparently in Division One, I guess it still technically is National Signing Day, but I guess they got rid of like this being the specific day for it, at least for football. Uh, it looks like you can sign just about any sort of day now, in Division One, but in Division Two, it still is National Signing Day for football being the top sport here. Uh, but since it is National Signing Day, you think what's Wayne State going to look like going into next season? Obviously, it had kind of a rough go last year, and we don't really have much insight at all. What we do know is that according to Athletic Site, we don't have any full-time coaches except for Coach Wheatley and Coach Sala. We have a head coach, a running backs coach, presumably. I don't think it's actually in his job duties, but you would expect that you would get some running back coaching from a guy like Coach Wheatley. Uh, Coach Sala there as the linebacker and special teams coordinator, but that means we don't have offensive or defensive corners. We don't have O line, wide receiver, tight ends. We don't have D line or defensive backs coaching beyond like grad assistant guys. I don't think they're having grad assistant guys going out there to recruit many guys. At least I don't think that's part of the job description. Uh, so there's some big question marks at Wayne State right now, and I don't really know how you're going to answer them. Uh, again, my tinfoil hat theory is that it's the university president keeping Coach Wheatley on board. I should say interim president. He's a Michigan guy. He went to Michigan when Coach Wheatley was playing for them. Uh, but my tinfoil hat theory says that a Michigan man isn't going to go can another Michigan man when you have that kind of status. Again, tinfoil hat theory. Uh, but What we do know is that according to Wayne State's site, they did put out what is purported to be a 2026 roster, early roster, not accounting for guys. I don't think we got any early enrollees, but not accounting for guys that they might be signing this go around. My count is about 87 different guys. So honestly, I was expecting a bit more roster turnover, especially, you're looking at Michigan State right now. That's my other school, and they have massive roster turnover. They had a bunch of guys leave, some that you're sad to see go, some that you're not really sad to see go. Uh, Flip side is that Michigan State filled that in with the transfer portal. Here with Wayne State, I'm not so sure that that's going. We're not going to see that kind of influx in this team. It's so far seeming like a lot of guys have chosen to stick this one out, at least for one more year with Coach Wheatley, pending what goes on. But interesting that the roster is largely intact from what I've seen. That puts you roughly 33 spots to fill. The size of the locker room, I think it's supposed to be like 107 lockers that they have now. So, I mean, I would expect some guys to share. So, what does that lead us into right now? Nothing official from Wayne State as far as signees go today. We have seen some lists from the D zone, only taking into account guys that are in the Metro Detroit area. I think they get some Muskegon guys as well. But right now it's looking like there's about 7 or 8 guys that we believe are signed to Wayne State right now. You compare that with some other schools such as Ferris or Grand Valley, who I believe are in the double digits just from guys around here alone. Okay, there's some questions going on here at Wayne State, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, we'll see what happens. I was just happening to look up to see if been anything put up about when a spring game might be, but I'm sure that that's not. There's probably a date floating around out there as far as what they're going to do, but nothing published yet. So still a
Yeah.
little bit of time before that. But yeah, we'll definitely keep our ear to the ground as far as what happens. We would expect some coaching news to come out at some point.
Yeah. I'm
You would hope.
yeah, I'm a little shocked that at least as far as the coaching stuff goes, I'm surprised that they don't have guys in place by the football banquet, which is on Saturday or Sunday, I think. Um, the only thing I would expect that they'll announce the day and time of the spring game, spring showcase, whatever they're going to do this year. I would expect that they're going to put that out at the football banquet. I could be wrong, and we're not going for obvious reasons, but um, is it weird? Like, I'm still looking forward to Wayne State football. Like, yeah, they could go over for years, and I still look forward to it. And I think that's just the allure of college football, and when you're committed to uh, your school through and through, thick and thin. No matter what they're gonna do, I'm still gonna be interested.
Yep, same. Absolutely same. So, exciting day. We'll see what happens. We'll definitely report on any big things that come out of it and anything that comes out from Wayne State. If we can get some information over, we will definitely do that. So, now back to our regularly scheduled programming at this time of the year. Sangster women's basketball currently sitting at an overall record of 14-6. They are 9-3 in the GLIAC. That ties them for second in the GLIAC with Northern Michigan, and they're home. They actually have a regular weekend where they're going to be home for 2 days, 2 games, I should say.
Shocker.
Thursday, yeah, the Wayne State women's basketball team will be home taking on Davenport. Comes in at a 6-14 record, 4-8 in conference play, and boy, oh boy, handle your business at home in this one. Looking at some of the GLIAC stats in this one, Davenport is smack dab in the middle when it comes to scoring offensively, defensively, margin, all of those things. I mean, almost every single stat that I'm looking at has them right in the middle of the GLIAC. So they're one of those teams that's they're gonna play their game. They're definitely maybe one of those teams that maybe they can come in, maybe they can get hot, they can scare you a little bit. But I mean, it doesn't look like they're a big 3-point shooting team. It doesn't really look like they make a ton of 3-pointers. So I mean, it just seems like them just showing up and having this big offensive showing is a little unlikely, but there's always a possibility. I mean, look what happened with Purdue Northwest on the men's team. So we'll see in this one, but I think you put it best, Sangster, in our notes here. Handle your business at home in this one.
Yeah, and just kind of a side note, with Davenport, let's back up first. No matter how bad things get, you know, on the field, on the court, wherever at Wayne State, and yeah, there have been some down years. I'm pretty thankful that we've been pretty clear of major controversies. Uh, Apparently there's some staffer on the athletic department at what do you call it, Davenport that nobody likes. The courtesy of Ant Wright on Twitter. If you don't follow him, 10 out of 10 suggest you do. It's really good insight for a lot of college athletics around Michigan. But I guess there's this site where it's essentially rate a professor, but it's for like coaches and athletic department staff, and people are lighting into this to this Davenport staffer. So yeah, I am glad that Wayne State runs a pretty tight ship as far as athletics administration goes.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a big one. I mean, this Thursday one is like you want to you got to go out and win this one. I mean, to continue on being in that top echelon of the GLIAC, this is one that you need to win because it doesn't get any easier on Saturday.
No.
Saturday, Grand Valley comes to town with a big old 20-0 record, 12-0 in GLIAC play. I mean, they're just on fire, and I guarantee you the closest game that they've played, Grand Valley, that is, was against Wayne State on Grand Valley's court. So that leads that I feel like that gives you reason for optimism in this one.
Yeah.
We've proven that we can compete with this team. I'm not saying we're going to compete with them every time we play with them, but we've done it once so far. So whatever it was that we made work in that game, we will have to carry that forward into this one. Thankfully, we'll be at the field house, so we'll be at our place. Definitely helps boost this team a little bit as well. And then, I mean, with a team that's undefeated across the board, what do you need me to say? They score the ball very well. They don't let up a lot of points. I think we talked about it recently. They shoot the three a lot, but they don't make a ton of threes. Like they get out there and they shoot it quite a bit, and that's really kind of their MO. And they play a lot of players. They bring out so many. They run full court defense. They're going to press you a little bit. They're going to try to force you into errors. If you can get the ball up court fast and you can get yourself into a play, get something going to the basket, make some shots, that's it seemed like for Wayne State the recipe in the last time that we played them. We'll see what happens in this one, but for me that makes that Thursday game so very very important that then you can say like, hey, we had our best shot against Grand Valley last time. We get another shot, and I think we can get them this time. That's hopefully what the mindset is.
Yeah, that first point you made about Wayne State being Grand Valley's closest game, that wasn't in our show sheet or anything, but we were both definitely on the same wavelengths because I've got Grand Valley's schedule pulled up. Not only is Wayne State Grand Valley's closest game, Wayne State is the only team that Grand Valley didn't beat by double-digit points.
No kidding.
No kidding at all. Like I think there's some like 12, 13s in there. Nobody had single digits.
Wow. Yeah.
Also, I see that Grand Valley played Aquinas at Aquinas. What are they doing? And why does Aquinas want that? Grand Valley beat them 93-21. Like,
hey man,
I mean, I get that there's money games, but does Grand Valley really have that much money? And is Aquinas really that desperate that wow. But
wild one. Yeah,
yeah,
and that's an interesting thing to throw out there. Like I say that because I know that Wayne State lost by 1 point the last time we played Grand Valley. You can't get any closer in a game against an
no.
undefeated team than 1 point. And it was close the whole way. It felt like we were going to win that one. So, yeah, I just, we have depth. We have outstanding defensive players. I mean, McKenna Ferguson, I said it before, I'll say it again. She's got to be so annoying to play against, which makes her probably the crowd favorite for the Wayne State team just because she's that type of a player. And so I don't know. We'll see what happens in this one. We're definitely going to be in attendance. This should be an exciting game. Definitely one that if you're listening in, if there's one game, you haven't been to a basketball game yet, there's one that you want to make it to, this is the one. Make it out on Saturday. It should be a very exciting one.
Yeah, no doubt. It's the same opponents, but on the men's side, right now, Wayne State men's basketball are 9-9, 6-6. They're tied for fifth with Davenport, and they're right at that 500 line, right where they've been pretty much all season, even going back to last year. I will say though that is better than being below 500. Ideally, you'd like to be above, but we're at 500 right now. Way the schedule works out, and they've got a home game right now against Davenport. Davenport men come in with a record of 12-8, but also 6-6 in conference play. So one that Wayne State absolutely needs to get some separation in the GLIAC standings. Like I said, a lot of basketball to be played still, but when the races get this tight, it's time to start winning some games, and especially you're at home. If you're going against a team tied with you in the standings, that is the one that Wayne State has to get right now. By way of standings, Northern Michigan and Grand Valley lead at 10-2, Michigan Tech at 9-3, and then kind of in that fourth spot is Davenport, Wayne State, and Ferris State, all at 6-6.
Yeah, so that's a yes, like that 500 mark for this Wayne State team. It feels like they just keep sticking at it. And every time we put the agenda together, we're like, our team's at 500 again. So yeah, but you are right. It's better to be at 500 than below. We're at least in the competition. We're in the thick of the standings. So we're always playing for something, it feels like.
Yeah.
And in this case, looking at some of the stats here, Davenport does not score the ball, does not score a ton of points, a little bit below Wayne State in scoring. They definitely allow they allow more points in conference play than Wayne State does. So their margin's not, quite as good as Wayne State. So in that case, you're like, all right, cool, one to Wayne State. We feel good about that. And same, a lot of the stats lean Wayne State's way. That 3-point number does not, though. That percentage, the number of attempts, that does not lead. We're not a big 3-point shooting team. If we are on any day, we'll go win that game. But when we're not, we got to find other ways to win. It feels like.
Yeah, and last point on the standings is kind of what makes it worse is that right now your bottom teams, at least the bottom of what would be the GLIAC tournament, you're looking at Saginaw Valley, Lake State, and Purdue Northwest. All are at 5-7, just one game below you. Oh, and Purdue Northwest has a season sweep over you right now. So yeah, it's definitely time to lock in for Wayne State. You don't want to get too much lower than that because you're looking at the, Parkside is at 3-9, Roosevelt's at 1-11. Yeah, it's kind of looking a little over for them. But right now, the way that those last teams that would get in the tournament are playing, yeah, there's definitely some cause for concern there. So definitely a game that Wayne State I think needs to separate themselves out of that middle and even bottom logjam right now. Just the way that this conference is going right now.
Yeah, agreed. And this is that game that it feels like we need this one because on Saturday, as we mentioned, Grand Valley comes to town at 17-3 overall, 10-2. They're pretty high up in the standings right now. They've clearly figured some things out. They've gotten a lot better as the season has gone along.
Yeah, they've won
it would
eight.
definitely, yeah, it would be fantastic to get this one. Looking at some of the stats here, Grand Valley, pretty good scoring team, the best defensive scoring team in GLIAC at this point. 3-point shooting wise, they're not shooting the lights out by any means. They're doing better than Wayne State. But yeah, it feels like their turnover margin is actually pretty good. So it feels like that Thursday one is a big one, and you play Saturday a little bit of like house money, and see if you can steal that one and get yourself off of that 500 line, like you said, saying so that 5-7 floor for the GLIAC tournament right now is not that far below this Wayne State team. So we want to get a little bit of separation.
Yep.
We'll see.
Yeah, it simply put, it would be lovely to steal this one. It's a great day to be. It's a terrific day to beat Grand Valley. It's a great day to be a Wayne State Warrior, but also just to get some of that separation in the GLIAC standings would be nice.
Yeah, no doubt. So two quick ones here. The women's track and field team, they will be back up at Saginaw Valley for the Wildcat Cardinal Warrior Invitational, whatever the order of the WCW Invitational is. Always a cool event, features Northern Michigan, Saginaw Valley, and Wayne State. So good luck to our women's track and field team. And then additionally, one that I almost missed, I pulled up the Wayne State composite schedule, and tennis will be in action this week. And it feels like this was kind of a last minute, get something on the calendar so our teams can get some time playing. On Friday, both our men's and women's tennis teams will be taking on Walsh. This will be a home match for both of our teams. So good luck to those two teams as they get a little action.
Yeah, no doubt. Also on Saturday and Sunday, huge event for Wayne State. It's been going on for years at this point. It's Saturday and Sunday is the men's and women's side playing in the Danoshi Open. For those that don't know, it's basically it's an open tournament that Wayne State has had for a number of years. You've got folks from colleges coming out. You got folks that are graduated and just in the clubs coming out to fence in this one. Just it's exactly what it is in the name. It's an open invitational, and whoever can come out and compete competes in this one.
This is the first ever fencing event I went to is the Danashi Open. And
Mhm.
I was so incredibly confused because I was like, this is not what I expected. Like, well, one, it was in the math eye. So like there's all the, there's the big giant auxiliary gym where everything was going on in there. And then there were like young kids and there were college aides. And there's like, I was like, this can't be right. But yeah, it's exactly that. It's an invitational. Anybody can come out grow the sport of fencing. There's a couple different fencing schools around the Metro Detroit area. Don't know the name of them off the top of my head, but a lot of those, fencers find their way into Wayne State and other, colleges around here. So very cool. But yeah, this is the first one I ever went to. So afterwards, when I went to regionals, when Wayne State hosted regionals, I was like, okay, this is what I expected. So, but nonetheless, still a very cool event, and a cool opportunity for a lot of the local fencers that want to come out and get into action.
Yep.
Last but not least, thanks for swimming and dive. We are already into GLIAC championships, and our teams Friday through Monday will be out in Holland, Michigan.
Yep. Uh, Pretty much all the hard work that these guys and ladies do all season, it leads down to two events. This is the first one. Next one is going to be NCAA uh, championship. So best of luck to all of our men's and women's swim squads in the GLIAC championships. I thought I saw a note that you have there's a new swimmer, a newer swimmer on the men's team as well.
Yeah, we were talking with Jeff, one of the Wayne State athletic staffers. Actually, I'll help me out with his actual title.
That's a sports information director.
Thank you. There it is. That there's a newer swimmer to the team. I don't see that a pronunciation was put up yet, but Kadeem Erdali, I want to say is the pronunciation in this one. Um, Freshman for Wayne State. He's a distance free swimmer. That's his
Yeah.
position. So fantastic to have that. But just last week, I think over the last week was his first two events that he was able to perform with Wayne State, and he went nuts. Like
Yep.
he was a podium finisher or first place finish. I can't remember, but like seeing that all of a sudden, in addition to all the other good things that this men's team has been doing this season, which there's a lot of it, that gives me reason to believe that like this team just took a little bit of a step up in these GLIAC standings just with the addition of, whatever events he gets involved in, probably, like some of the longer 1,000 meter, 1,600 meter, whatever. But that leads to excitement for me.
Yeah, he comes by way of Ankara, Turkey, and he just got here in January this year. He had his first two regular season meets against Davenport and Oakland on the 23rd and 24th. And on the 27th, he was named GLIAC Swimmer of the Week. Uh,
He wasn't even around
right,
for a week at that point.
right, right. And his first two events that he competes in, he's already a GLIAC Swimmer of the Week. So really great to have him on this squad here.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. So good luck to both of our swimming and dive teams and fencing teams as they head out to the west side of the state. And with that, Sangster, that is all we have coming up. So a good amount of stuff, a lot of exciting things, big stuff for basketball. We'll definitely recap any football news that we're able to find out about. But with that, we'll wrap it up. So with that, we appreciate everybody listening in on episode 119 of the Warrior House podcast.
And remember, it's always a great day to be a Wayne State Warrior.